Hi, everyone. Today, I'm introducing a simple but powerful tool that can transform the way you work with Google NotebookLM. If you often struggle with managing notebooks, adding sources, or switching languages inside NotebookLM, this extension will make your workflow much easier. It lets you organize notebooks more easily, handle sources in bulk, and change languages whenever you need, all without leaving the Notebook LM interface. Now let's move to the Chrome Web Store so I can show you exactly how to install Notebook LM Tools. This is the official Chrome Web Store page for Notebook LM Tools. I've also added the link in the description so you can open it directly from there. To install the extension, you simply click on Add to Chrome. When Chrome asks for confirmation, just choose Add Extension. This step allows the extension to appear in your browser toolbar. After the installation finishes, Chrome adds the extension to your browser, but it doesn't pin it automatically. To pin it, you can click the extension's icon at the top right, then press the pin button next to Notebook LM Tools. And that's it. The extension is now installed and pinned. Let's open it and see what it can do. The pop-up appears on screen. Since this is our first time opening the extension, it shows a setup screen. Right now, it isn't connected to our Notebook LM account yet. To proceed, all we need to do is click the Open Notebook LM button. This will take us straight to the Notebook LM website, where the extension can link to your account. Once you're signed in, the connection completes automatically. After that, the extension is fully ready to use. With everything set up, let's try it on a real article. For this demo, I'm using Stuart Russell's CNN article titled Artificial Intelligence. When I open the extension, the pop-up shows all the main tools available. Right at the top, there's a button called Open Sidebar. This button does exactly what it sounds like. It opens the same interface, but as a sidebar on the right side of the page. All the features are identical to the pop-up. The only difference is that the sidebar stays on screen while you scroll. So for example, when I click Open Sidebar, it smoothly slides out on the right. Now I can continue reading the article normally while the extension stays open beside it. For now, I'll close it and continue with the pop-up. Right below that, we have two import options: Page and Links. Page means the extension will capture the full article you're currently viewing as one single source. Links shows all the extracted URLs from this page, so you can save external references, related articles, or any other link the page contains. So in this case, since I want to save the CNN article itself, I'll choose Page. After choosing what you want to import, you can create a notebook by clicking Create New Notebook. This instantly sends the selected content into a fresh Notebook LM notebook. After a few seconds, it automatically opens a new tab with that notebook, ready for you to start working. Now let's try another example. I'll open a different article with a similar topic, this one from CNN, titled AI Could Define the Future of Humanity by 2035. Once the page loads, I open the extension again. Just like before, it detects the page automatically. But this time, instead of saving the page itself, I want to save the links referenced inside the article. To do that, I switch to the Links option. This mode scans the article and extracts every URL found on the page, and in this case, it found 199 links. Obviously, I don't want to save all 199 of them. That's where the Filter Links feature becomes really useful. At the top, I have two fields: Include and Exclude. Include lets me keep only the links that match a keyword or pattern. For example, if I only want technology-related URLs, I can type /tech. The extension instantly shows a preview of all the tech-related URLs. But this is only a preview. Nothing is applied yet. So if I remove the keyword, the list immediately goes back to the full 199 links because I never pressed Apply Filter. It works like a temporary lens. I can quickly see what the filtered results would look like without locking anything in. The second filter is Exclude, and in this demo, this is the one I actually apply. If I type something like /audio, those links disappear from the preview. And when I click Apply Filter, this time the filter becomes permanent. The full list is replaced with the filtered version. Now the list contains no links that include /audio, giving me a much cleaner set of sources to work with. Before I finish filtering, there's one more set of tools I want to show you. These three buttons right here: Hash, Params, and Clean. Hash removes the hash fragments in a URL. That's anything after the hash symbol. A lot of news sites add these fragments for navigation or tracking, and they're not really useful when you're saving sources. Params removes URL parameters like question mark UTM, underscore source equals, or ampersand ref equals. These are usually just tracking tags, so cleaning them makes the links shorter and easier to read. And then there's clean, which combines both actions. It removes hashes and parameters in one click. For this demo, I'll actually click clean. You'll see the URLs instantly update. All the long tracking parts disappear, the hashes are gone, and the list becomes much cleaner. This is the version that will be added to my notebook. Simple, readable, and consistent. Now that the list is cleaned, filtered, and ready to save into NotebookLM, I'm not creating a new notebook this time. I already have one for all my AI-related articles. So I simply choose Add to Existing Notebook, and this panel appears. Here, the extension shows all of my NotebookLM notebooks, and I pick the one I want to add to. In this case, Stuart Russell, Navigating AI's Promise, Peril, and Control. Once I select it, the extension marks it as selected. All I need to do now is click Add 180 links. The extension processes everything in the background and sends the cleaned list straight into NotebookLM. A few seconds later, the NotebookLM panel updates to show my account and the exact notebook I selected, confirming that all filtered links have been successfully added to the same research collection I've been building. And this is really the best part. Instead of collecting URLs one by one, the extension lets me gather dozens of relevant links in just a few clicks, clean them up, and send them straight into NotebookLM. Now my notebook includes sources from both this article and the earlier one, all neatly organized in one place where I can continue my research without losing track of anything. One more important feature of this extension is notebook management. Instead of only helping you send links into NotebookLM, the extension also gives you a centralized place to manage all your notebooks and sources. From the home screen, when I click the NotebookLM button, the extension automatically opens a dedicated notebook management view. Here I can see a complete list of every notebook I've created. Each notebook shows its title, associated tags, the number of sources it contains, and the last time it was updated. This makes it much easier to stay organized. At a glance, I can see which notebooks are active, what topics they focus on, and where my research sources are actually going. Now let's look at the action buttons, starting with tags, which is especially helpful when you're managing a large number of notebooks. Before opening it, let's take a quick look at what the Tags button does. Tags allow you to group notebooks by topic rather than relying only on their titles. When I click the Tags button, the Manage Tags modal opens. At the top, there's an input where I can enter a new tag name with an Add button right next to it to create the tag. Below that, there's a color picker, which lets me choose how the tag will appear visually. This makes it easier to recognize different topics later. At this point, since I haven't created any tags yet, the list section below is empty. Once tags are created, they'll appear here, along with how many notebooks are using each one. Now I'll create my first tag. I'll type economic, choose a red color to make it stand out, and click Add. The tag is now created and saved in the system. Now that the economic tag exists, let's assign it to the right notebook. I close the Manage Tags modal and return to the notebook list. Next to each notebook, there's a small plus icon where tags are applied. Next, I move to Algorithm and Aesthetic, Optimized Architecture in Shanghai. I click the plus icon and type Algorithm. Because this tag doesn't exist yet, the extension lets me create it instantly. I click Create Algorithm, and the tag is added to this notebook. Then I'll add one more tag. Again, I click the plus icon and type AI, click Create AI, and the tag is now assigned to the same notebook. Finally, I assign the AI tag to another notebook. So both notebooks are now grouped under the same topic. At this point, my notebooks are clearly organized: Economic for global markets, Algorithm for architecture and design, and AI for artificial intelligence research. This makes notebooks much easier to find, filter, and manage, especially as the number of projects continues to grow. What's nice is that you don't have to pre-create everything. You can create and assign tags on the fly exactly when you need them. Now let's say I want to adjust how a tag looks. I click the Tags button again to reopen the Manage Tags modal. Next to each tag, there's a pen icon for editing. I click the pen icon next to the AI tag. From here, I can change the tag's color. I switch it to green, then click Save. As soon as I save, the tag updates everywhere, across all notebooks that use it. This makes tagging very flexible. Now that my notebooks are properly tagged, filtering becomes incredibly easy. At the top of the notebook list, I can use the Filter by Tag button to quickly narrow things down. Instead of scrolling through everything, I just filter by topic. First, I click on the AI tag. Right away, the list updates to show only notebooks related to artificial intelligence. Next, I switch to the algorithm tag. The list updates again, showing notebooks focused on architecture, design, and algorithmic topics. And when there are many tags, I don't even need to type the full name. I just start typing econ into the tag search. The economic tag appears instantly. I select it, and the list is immediately filtered to notebooks related to global markets and economic policy. Everything happens in real time. No reloading, no extra steps. Nothing is modified behind the scenes. It's just a fast visual filter. This makes it extremely easy to find exactly what I need, even when I'm managing a large number of notebooks across different topics. After using tags to filter my notebooks, I can quickly reset the view using the refresh button. Even though the extension updates automatically in the background, this button lets me manually reload the list. With one click, I can make sure I'm seeing the latest state from NotebookLM, especially helpful after bulk changes or heavy editing. Next, we have the Create button. This extension gives me two different ways to start a new notebook. I can create one directly from an article, which is perfect when I'm already reading something and want to save it right away. Or I can simply create a new, empty notebook by clicking the Create button here and add sources later. So depending on whether I'm starting from existing content or starting from scratch, I can choose the workflow that fits best. Now, let's talk about deleting notebooks. If a notebook is no longer needed, I can delete it right from this list. Each row has a trash icon, and when I click it, a confirmation dialog appears to prevent accidental deletion. In this case, I'm not actually deleting anything, so I'll click Cancel and keep the notebook. When it comes to larger cleanups, I don't have to delete notebooks one by one. I can select multiple notebooks using the checkboxes on the left, then delete them all in a single action. This is especially useful when reorganizing projects or clearing out older notebooks. Overall, this makes notebook management both flexible and safe, whether I'm making small adjustments or cleaning up at a larger scale. Right next to the trash icon, there's a Sources button for each notebook. When I click this button, the extension opens a separate page that shows all the sources inside that specific notebook. For this demo, I'll open the Sources page of the notebook Algorithm and Aesthetic. Here, I can quickly see every article or link that has been added, all organized in one place. First, I'll click the eye icon next to a source. This lets me preview the content directly in Quickster, so I can quickly check what the article contains without leaving the extension. Next to that, there's also a delete option for sources. The behavior here is the same as notebook deletion that I showed earlier, so I won't go into detail again. Now let's take a look at the buttons at the top. The refresh button works exactly like before. It syncs the latest state from NotebookLM, so any new changes are always up to date. There's also backup/restore. This lets me export all sources from this notebook as a backup file, or restore them later if needed. For example, I can download the backup to keep a local copy of my research. So even long-term projects stay safe, portable, and easy to revisit in the future. Now I'll switch to another notebook, Economic Policy and Global Markets. From here, I click Backup/Restore again, but this time I switch to the Import option. I select the backup file I just downloaded, then click Import Backup. A moment later, those sources are added into this notebook, bringing my research over without any manual copying. This makes it easy to reuse research, move sources between notebooks, or recover data whenever needed, all in just a few clicks. Next, let's take a look at the Add Source button. This is how I add new content directly into a notebook without leaving the extension. When I click Add Source, I see two options. I can add text manually, which is useful when I already have content prepared, or I can add a source using a link, letting the extension fetch and organize the article for me. In the link section, I can choose how links are added to the notebook. The first option is Extract Links from Page. This lets the extension scan the article itself and collect any links found inside the page, such as references, related articles, or embedded sources. The second option is Paste Links directly, which allows me to manually paste one or more URLs. For this demo, I'll use paste links directly and add a single article link. Then I click Add Link to Notebook. The source gets added, and that completes the Advanced Notebook Manager. With this toolkit, you can finally handle large research projects without feeling overwhelmed. Every notebook, every source, every update is organized into a clean, unified dashboard that makes navigating your entire NotebookLM workspace dramatically faster and far more intuitive. Whether you're working with 10 notebooks or 100, everything stays structured and easy to access. But powerful organization is only one side of the experience. There's another challenge NotebookLM users run into all the time, especially anyone working across multiple countries, sources, or audiences. NotebookLM doesn't provide a quick way to change languages. If you need the interface in one language but the AI's output in another, or if you're switching between multilingual research materials, you end up adjusting settings manually over and over. It breaks your flow, slows everything down, and makes cross-language work much harder than it should be. That's why NotebookLM Tools introduces multi-language power, a complete language control system built directly into the extension. On the NotebookLM page, you can see the extension's settings panel. This is where all language-related controls are centralized, so you no longer need to jump between different menus. At this point, the language hasn't been configured yet, so we need to set it up first. Clicking the Settings button brings me directly to the NotebookLM Tools settings page. On this settings page, you'll see the Language Settings section. Here, the extension gives you two separate language controls. The first one is Interface Language. This setting controls the language of NotebookLM's interface itself, including menus, buttons, and system text inside NotebookLM. Below that is Output Language. This controls the language used by NotebookLM's AI responses. So even if NotebookLM's interface stays in one language, I can generate summaries, answers, and notes in another language. One especially useful feature here is language starring. When you work with multiple languages, speed really matters. You don't want to scroll through a long list every time just to find the same languages again and again. That's why NotebookLM Tools lets you star your most used languages. Once a language is starred, it stays pinned at the top, so switching later takes just a single click. Now let me show you how it works. In the search box, I type Eng. English appears instantly. I click the star icon, and English is now saved as a favorite. I'll do the same for Vietnamese. I type Viet, select Vietnamese, and click the star. Now both English and Vietnamese are starred and always easy to access. When I need to switch languages while working, there's no need to search again. They're already right there. Now let's move down to Output Language and see how it works in practice. Just like before, I can search for the language I want. I type Eng, select English, and set it as the output language. And I click the star icon to pin it. Next, I search for Viet. I star Vietnamese the same way. And finally, I search for Ja. I find Japanese and click the star icon. Now, English, Vietnamese, and Japanese are all starred. They stay pinned at the top of the output language list, ready to use whenever I need them. Now I'm back on the NotebookLM page. Earlier, this panel only showed a Settings button, but after starring my languages, this panel has changed. Instead of the Settings button, I now see my starred languages right here. This turns the panel into a quick language switcher so I can change languages instantly without opening settings again. This setup step makes a big difference later. When I actually switch output languages during research, I don't have to search again. Everything is already one click away. To see this in action, let's look at the current interface. At the moment, NotebookLM is displayed in Japanese. From this panel, I can switch the interface language with just one click. First, I click VI. The entire NotebookLM interface immediately switches to Vietnamese menus, buttons, and labels all update at once. Then I click EN and the interface switches back to English. There's no page refresh, and I never have to reopen settings. But interface language is only half of the story. Now let's look at output language. This controls the language of NotebookLM's AI responses. I keep the interface in English, but I switch the output language to Vietnamese. When I ask a question or generate a summary, the AI now responds in Vietnamese. Next, I switch the output language to Japanese. The chat immediately switches to Japanese. Finally, I select English, and everything switches back smoothly. This makes switching languages feel instant and natural. Whether I'm reading, asking questions, or reviewing AI output, I can move between languages in seconds without breaking my focus or workflow. After switching languages, there's one more thing you can customize right inside the pop-up. When I open the pop-up settings, you'll see options to adjust the language switcher panel. From here, you can change the panel's position on the screen, top, middle, or bottom, aligned to the left or right. Below that is orientation. You can switch between vertical and horizontal, depending on how you want the language buttons to appear. Any change you make here applies instantly. As soon as I select a new position or orientation, the floating panel updates right away. No reload, no interruption. Overall, this multi-language setup makes NotebookLM much smoother to use. You can switch the interface language, control AI output language, and even adjust how the language panel appears, all in just a few clicks. And that's a quick look at NotebookLM Tools. This extension isn't just about language switching. It brings a full set of productivity tools to Google NotebookLM, from advanced notebook and source management to bulk actions that save you hours of manual work. Whether you're a student, researcher, content creator, or part of a multilingual team, NotebookLM Tools is designed to keep everything organized, fast, and right where you're working. If you use NotebookLM regularly, this extension helps you work smarter, not harder. Thanks for watching, and feel free to check out NotebookLM Tools to supercharge your NotebookLM workflow. I've left the download link in the description below so you can try it out yourself.